a childhood scarred by loss, a forest drowned in poison, and a gentle deer reborn as a bloodthirsty monster. His mother was killed, his child stolen, his world destroyed. Now the legend of Bambi returns, not as innocence, but as a nightmare that hunts humans without mercy. And this is where pure horror begins. The film begins with drawings that reveal the backstory. A young deer named Bambi once lived peacefully in the forest with his mother. But one day, a hunter's bullet took her life, leaving Bambi all alone. He grew up, survived the dangers of the wild, and eventually found a mate. Soon they had a child, and Bambi was finally happy with his family. But happiness didn't last long. Humans returned, destroying the forest and tearing his new life apart. One tragic day, a truck filled with toxic waste ran through the jungle, crushing Bambi's partner. He too was struck down and left unconscious. Amid the chaos, his child was lost. The company behind it all, Wilbexer Pharmaceuticals, was dumping toxic waste into the forest waters. When Bambi awoke, the same grief from his childhood returned. Searching desperately for his child, he drank from the poisoned water. But instead of dying, he transformed into something else, a mutated monster, ready for revenge. Now in the present, three hunters enter the same forest: Michael, Tyler, and Eddie. They've been sent by the Wilbexer Company to hunt Bambi. Because of their toxic waste, such a thing has happened, and it must never be exposed. That's why Bambi has to be eliminated. The three hunters are seen doing target practice on a dead bird. After shooting it, they move ahead. Meanwhile, we see Zana and her son Benji, who are traveling to Benji's dad, Simon's family house, for Thanksgiving, but without Simon, as he is far too busy with work. They take a cab with driver Rob. As Rob chats with Zana, the cab almost collides with an oncoming car but narrowly avoids the accident. The journey continues deeper into the forest, but Benji, focused on his game, suddenly feels nauseous. Rob is forced to stop the car, and Benji steps out to vomit. Coincidentally, they stop right where the dead bird lies. Benji fears that his parents might be separated, but Zana comforts him, saying that's not true. Just then, Benji hears the growling of Bambi, but they quickly get back into the cab. The car drives only a little further before suddenly Bambi appears right in front of them. Before Rob can react, Bambi swings his antlers and flips the cab in one brutal strike. He then charges at Rob, climbing onto the vehicle and leaping at him. With savage force, Bambi tears into Rob, leaving him screaming in agony. But his cries don't save him. Bambi continues his vicious attack until Rob is dead. In the chaos, Zana and Benji break the rear window and escape. But before running into the forest, they catch one chilling glimpse of Bambi, growling at them from atop the wrecked cab. At the same time, we see a woman standing in the dark. She is Simon's mother, Mary. Her house is near the forest, and outside her home, she keeps repeating the words, Bambi, Bambi. She even sees visions of Bambi. Mary suffers from dementia, so she remembers nothing clearly except Bambi, who never leaves her mind. Inside the house live Mary's two sons, Andrew and Joshua. Along with them stay Andrew's wife, Harriet, and their son, Harrison, who is extremely rude. When Harriet sees Mary standing outside, she goes to bring her in. Mary had already warned them that they are here. Soon the door is knocked, and Harriet finds Zana and Benji at the doorstep. Zana tells everyone about the horrifying incident that happened to them in the forest. Meanwhile, we see the three hunters again. Tyler informs their boss, the owner of Wilbexer, about the situation. Back at the house, after hearing about the attack, Joshua steps out to help the taxi driver, not knowing that he has long been dead. Benji, badly injured, is treated by Zana, who starts giving him first aid. Meanwhile, Wilbexer's men come across the overturned taxi on the road. Inside, they find Zana's phone, and after seeing her picture, they make nasty comments. Just then, they hear Bambi's growling, and all three quickly turn, ready to fire their guns. At the same time, we see Mary, still obsessed with Bambi, sketching his figure in her sketchbook. She rapidly draws, trying to capture the flashes of Bambi she sees in her mind. Harrison gets annoyed with his grandmother's behavior and tries to stop her, but when she doesn't listen, he hits her with a cushion. Zana scolds him, but Mary continues drawing, lost in her own world. Back in the forest, something moves in the bushes. Without thinking, Tyler fires a shot, but the bullet strikes Joshua in the head, killing him instantly. Eddie scolds Tyler, and before anyone else can discover the body, the men drag Joshua's corpse away with them. At the house, Zana notices Bambi's presence everywhere, making her uneasy. Mary, confused, keeps calling little Benji Simon. Then, while peeking out of the window, she sees someone throw the same dead bird that the hunters had shot earlier. Benji calls his mother, and soon it's revealed. The one who threw it was Bambi himself, now standing right outside. Zana quickly grabs Mary and Benji to escape as Bambi smashes through the house in a single violent strike. Being massive in size, he tears through everything in his path, destroying the place. Soon he comes face to face with Harriet's family, who run to hide behind the cabin, but Bambi follows them there. Andrew and Harrison manage to flee while Harriet is left behind. As she struggles to climb out through a window, Bambi's antlers strike her down. Inside the house, no one felt safe, so the family rushed into their van. Harriet, who was left behind, managed to escape outside, but Bambi was right on her tail. In front of the whole family, he swung his massive antlers and tore Harriet into two pieces. Watching this, Andrew immediately started the van at full speed and drove away. Bambi chased them down, ramming the vehicle again and again, but Andrew kept control and managed to outrun him. Meanwhile, the three hunters had reached the house. There, they found Harriet's body split in two, but still alive. To end her suffering, Michael finished her off with his knife. On the road, the family had to stop suddenly, as a tree had fallen across the path. Andrew planned to pull it away using the van. He, Harrison, and Zana stepped out to tie the rope and push, while Benji was told to stay inside and hit the accelerator when needed. As Zana explained this to him, Bambi appeared from ahead. Seeing him, Zana quickly told Benji to start driving. He pressed the pedal hard, but Andrew hadn't tied the rope to the tree yet. Instead, it got tangled around his leg. As the van sped forward, Andrew was dragged mercilessly along the road. Benji managed to dodge Bambi and drive past, but Harrison was left behind. In fear, he ran into the forest. Bambi came after him, but as Harrison fell, his face landed in filth and waste. When Bambi approached and sniffed, he left him alone, disgusted by the foul stench and swarming flies. Far ahead, the van finally stopped as its fuel ran out. Zana then discovered Andrew's mangled body tied behind, his face completely destroyed from being dragged. Shocked, mother and son stepped ahead, only to see Mary running into the forest. They had no choice but to follow her. Back in the woods, Harrison regained his balance and kept moving. Suddenly, a rabbit approached him. Out of habit and anger, Harrison kicked it away. But soon, the rabbit returned, with its mutated, bloodthirsty companions twisted by toxic waste. The pack charged at Harrison. Terrified, he backed away, stumbling into a trap set in the ground. Stuck, he could do nothing as the vicious rabbits tore him apart alive. Harrison had escaped Bambi, but his death was written in the jungle, where his own aggression turned him into prey, as countless animals had been mutated by the toxic water. So the hunters had set traps across the forest and placed live cameras in front of them. What happened to Harrison was captured on their monitors too. Mary had wandered deep into the forest, where piles of human bones and mutilated bodies lay scattered. As Zana and Benji lit a fire to inspect the place, Bambi suddenly appeared. The three ran for their lives, with Mary in tow. Luckily, Bambi got stuck in a tree, and the survivors reached the road where they were met by the hunters who took them back to their base. Along the way, they kept tossing the same dead bird, a trick to lure Bambi toward them. At the hunters' hideout, truth was revealed. Simon was there. He was their boss, meaning Simon himself was behind everything, the very man whose own family had become victims. Zana confronted him, and their heated argument broke Benji's heart. Hearing it, he realized his suspicion was right. His parents were separated. Upset, he stormed out. It was then revealed that Simon was working with his partner Joe all along. This was the important work that had kept him away. Now, even after so many family deaths, Simon still wanted to cover everything up. He refused to tell the police, because if the truth came out, the company would shut down and they'd all end up in prison, including him. His only goal now was to kill Bambi at any cost. Michael even warned Zana, if she tried to interfere, she'd be killed too. We see, Bambi's child was being kept locked in a cage, a tool to be used when necessary. And that moment had arrived. Eddie and Tyler dragged the young fawn into the forest as bait to lure Bambi out. But while Tyler stood in wait, Bambi suddenly ambushed him, ripping his head clean off. When Eddie went looking for him, chaos unfolded elsewhere. Benji had freed Bambi's child from the cage and ran off. Michael caught this on camera and went out to kill Benji, while Zana and Simon frantically searched for him. Eddie vomits when he sees Tyler's headless corpse, and right then, Bambi appears. Eddie scrambles into a car to escape, and Joe sees everything on CCTV. But before anyone can help him, Bambi reaches first, smashing through the window and tearing into Eddie's legs. Eddie falls out of the car, only for Bambi to rip off his head as well. Meanwhile, Zana is searching for Benji. Hearing his mother's voice, Benji runs toward her. At the same time, Michael arrives, also hunting for him. Back at the base, only Joe and Mary remain. Bambi bursts in, jaws wide open, about to crush Mary's head. When a noise distracts him, he charges after Joe, smashing down doors as she fires back. A bullet strikes the gas cylinders, and the entire base explodes. From a distance, Benji watches the explosion, while Zana, Simon, and Michael reach him amidst the destruction. Michael raises his gun to shoot Benji, but before he can fire, a burning Bambi storms in, seizes Michael, and drags him away. Michael's satellite phone drops to the ground, and Simon picks it up. Then, Bambi returns, looking for his child. Zana realizes what he wants. Instead of running, she stands beside her son. Simon, however, abandons them, running for his own life. Understanding Bambi's pain, Zana carefully places the fawn in front of him. Finally, Bambi is reunited with his child. But in that moment, blood-soaked Michael reappears. With his last strength, he opens fire, bringing Bambi crashing down. Before he can harm Zana or Benji, Mary appears behind pointing a gun and shoots Michael in the head, killing him. Benji rushes to his grandmother, who at last recognizes him. But history repeats itself. Just as Bambi once watched his mother die, his child now witnesses the same. A hunter has slain his father before his very eyes. The young fawn nudges Bambi, trying to wake him, but he never rises again. Elsewhere, Simon tries to flee, but a rabbit sits on his car's windshield. Before he can escape, the mutated creature leaps at his neck, killing him instantly. In the forest, Mary, Zana, and Benji survive. Bambi's child had finally been returned to him, yet parent and child could not remain together. The film ends with the cries of the fawn echoing through the jungle.
So, dear viewers, how did you like this recap? Do let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates. Thank you.